Mike Feldstein started off floods, fire, mold removal, disaster chasing business. Currently a huge seller of indoor air purifiers called Jaspr, Jaspr. And it basically looks like a giant Alexa device. My wife was cooking, making some breakfast and lunch this morning, and she was trying out a couple new recipes that are very spicy. She had the Jaspr out.
Great.
Anytime she's cooking Indian food, Jaspr is out.
I'm happy
So
to hear
it does help like de-stinkify the house a little bit from those crazy smells.
What I like about your podcast is on the YouTube comments, people don't seem to be such haters.
Why would they be haters?
I don't know. When I talk about air and stuff.
Oh, you're talking about health stuff though. That's highly contentious.
Yeah.
Air, those types. I could see why people were like, oh, this doesn't do anything. Yes, it does. Da, da, da. I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I get that much hate in the comments.
No, you're loved.
Man, you want to talk about hate? Back in the day, like circa 2000, the internet was a wild place. There was no way to trace anyone. Even if you had their IP, like it didn't matter. You couldn't find out who they were. You could leave crazy comments, and there was no spam moderation or anything like that. So the comments back in the day, I had a money blog, were the most crazy things. It really built up my thick skin.
Nice.
Now, like no one ever said those things to my face, but on the internet, there would always just be this constant stream of haters. And you're just like, oh, it's just like fun for them. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to lie.
That was pre-bought.
I did it too every once in a while.
That was pre-bought.
That's pre-bots. They were sitting there writing them. And I'm not going to lie. I have left some hateful comments at some point. And I was just like, you know what? Is this fun behind the smoke screen of anonymity to do that? And now like, I feel like there's less anonymity on the internet. Everything like is related to your name, or at some point, like someone has your email address somewhere. So back in the day, the comments were like vile.
Damn.
And now they're quite tame in comparison. Like there's no Instagram comment you could show me that's as bad as what used to be.
That's true.
Yeah. So what we did last time was we talked about e-bike tours, bike rentals, backyard office pod, teaching a homeschool, TV mounting services, seating services for social media, UGC gathering,
all that,
Airbnb, property management, glamping in a box, like all sorts of stuff that we talked about. And I like talking about that because you actually run a physical business where you sell like basically a giant air purifier, like a giant indoor air purifier. So one thing you told me about Jaspr recently was you removed your homepage.
What I did.
And what were the results?
So November 8th, 2024, about a month ago, exactly a month ago, I was at this dinner and we were just talking about we were all just talking about every time any one of us had simplified business, things went better. Like we were all just talking about how like whenever we've added complexity to the business got worse.
Yeah.
Whenever we made things simpler, business got better. So when we used to have the ability to subscribe to filters like 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. When we switched to just 6 months, conversion rates went way up. When we actually removed the ability, so 96% of people are subscribing. So we got rid of the ability to buy it without subscribing. Conversion rates got way better again. So we're like, let's just optimize for like the exact customers.
It's just like less boxes for them to check.
Yeah.
Click drop downs and
options.
Things to think about. 6 months, 3 months. How long do I want it?
Oh, yeah. Honey, dinner's ready. Never buy the Jaspr.
Yeah.
So there was a clear trend of removing options, things getting better. So I came home from this dinner and I'm like, man, the copy of our website was just so like website-y. It was weird.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, 80% of our sales comes from me going on podcasts and teaching people about air stuff. So all of a sudden, whatever happened, it was like 2 a.m. I was kind of tired, but I'm like, Black Friday's coming up. I just started writing. And for some reason, this was the one time I rewrote the product page in my own voice, just like the way I talk on a podcast. Now it's like, Jaspr's the best air purifier in the world, hands down. Like I wasn't talking like that before. So I rewrote the whole thing. And then I'm like looking at the homepage. I'm like, what is the point of view? I'm like, most of the traffic's going here. And my whole goal is to get you from here to the page where you could actually buy the Jaspr and learn about it. So I just forwarded it so we had no homepage anymore. And conversion rates went from like 1.25% to like 1.9%.
But I call it like medium jumping. Anytime you make someone do something else, you're losing 50% of people right away. So if you have a homepage and it's like, go to the shopping page, well, now they got to click that. Some people have slow connections. Some people miss the button. So they just 50% of those people miss out on like
the homepage is supposed to be like a catalog. You know, it's like if you were a store, that's like what you put on the window.
Yeah.
But I'm like, we only sell one thing and we don't do ads.
But you know what the other thing is? You sell a physical product where people know what it is. It's an air purifier. It looks like this. It's that tall.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the whole thing. Where's the buy button? I think Amazon has trained us to, it's like, here's the buy button, click now. And if you're selling a digital product or a software, we're trying to show people what it does, I think it would be different. But for a physical product where there's only one thing, I mean, I think that's the exact right move.
I love single SKU businesses. I love single SKU businesses so much. I also believe so much in the reshoring of manufacturing. The greatest opportunity is for single SKU manufacturers. So normally you think about a factory, it's like this like 200,000 square foot warehouse. But the reason that there's like hundreds of people and it's so big is because they make 200 things. So they're storing stuff for 200 brands. Their assembly line, their training, it's just like so cumbersome. So for us to make like thousands of Jaspers a month, we only need like a 6,000 or 8,000 square foot warehouse. Also, it's metal. Nothing in there is temperature controlled. So when you're making one thing, you just have like a clear, purpose-built thing. Like some of the best food I've ever had came from a food truck. Like food trucks can do like one or two things world class. It's really hard to, like the great restaurants can do like 50 things well, but like some of the best foods are at like a food truck. It's like a breakfast sandwich or like a burger, like a taco. They can do one thing better than most restaurants. So by just having one product, we're able to get so good at the other stuff, the educating, the warranty, the support. Nobody ever buys the wrong one. No one ever like wants to buy the big one and then get the little one. If we're bringing on a key employee, like if we're hiring for customer support, they only need to learn about one thing, manufacturing wise. So yeah, instead of having this like 100,000 square foot building, it's like 5,000 square feet. So if you're doing something that's good, like so many businesses, they're adding more SKUs. They're like certainly like we don't have any sales. Maybe if we sold 7 things, then we'd get some sales. And I'm like, you're already in a market that's massive. Like get good at selling that thing. You can go so far and you can actually be the best at less stuff.
Well, okay, so the physical product business, I think there's an analogy between like, there's a lot of digital businesses now with AI and everyone like competition, digital businesses are being squeezed. If you sell an informational product, I mean, you're kind of getting replaced by ChatGPT or free YouTube videos or free advice from Twitter, Instagram, etc. I feel like with a physical business, are people still making a ton of money just basic drop shipping?
No.
I feel like that's getting squeezed out too. Like if you're selling Aesop soap or whatever on Amazon, well, there's a bunch of other people selling the same thing. They just lower the price and then you lower the price and then, or you try to get more reviews for your store, but that's the only thing you're competing on. It kind of sounds like you either need a brand name that people think like is different than the others, or you need to make your own product.
I think, or you need to be full Walmart or Costco or Geico. Like Geico is like 4% margins, but they're like, we will be more lean and efficient than any other insurance operator ever would be. So if anyone competes with us on price, they go out of business. Walmart and Costco do the same thing.
But there's only like one Walmart. Exactly. There's not many of those.
So to compete on price, you have to be like, we're going for it. We have to be like the biggest buyer. So that's not practical for most people.
Yeah. I mean, my very first business, my first real business that actually like paid for my college called HouseOfRave, and it was a drop shipper. And back then that was like a really innovative business model. It's like, wait, you don't carry the stuff yourself. You just tell someone else to send it out.
Yeah.
And that was great because I could dominate the search results. But ultimately, as Amazon started becoming bigger, people are like, well, I could buy the same thing, but cheaper. I know you have a better product.
I can return it right away.
But it's cheaper, and cheaper is hard to compete with.
Very hard.
Same product versus cheaper. And so the margins kept going down and down. And over the years, I was working harder and harder to make the same amount of money. And I was like, okay, I can see where this is going, and this is just going to be squeezed. I feel like all these people that did the Amazon drop shipping thing, they're going to get squeezed out, right? Unless they have a strong brand name. But even then, it's like someone else starts a brand.
It's like supplements too. It's really tough. It's so hard to stand out and be different, especially if you have like 15 supplements. If you just have one, you could really, like, let's just say you just sold one sleep supplement. Instead of putting the energy into making 9 more sleep supplements, go to every sleep conference and befriend every sleep doctor and become a sleep expert. Like, so that's the brand side of stuff. So the reason Jaspr's been able to cut out a niche for ourselves is like, we're the only air purifier company who's like, has a lifetime warranty. We can spend on educating. We can do all this other stuff other than just compete. Like, we can make our support insane. We can ship you the next one. Like, if any competitor tries to compete with us, when they have 150 employees and we have like 4, they have like a giant office and we don't. And it's hard to compete when you do a ton of stuff. Like we talked about it last time, like a lot of the things that we talked about last time, those singular businesses, the reason why those actually work, if you look at it, it's like Backyard Office Pod, that's a contractor who just builds one thing. TV mounting services, it's a contractor who does one thing. Like I don't want, like, no contractor can compete on TV mounting. They're like, that job is too small, I can't send my guy out to quote it.
Yeah.
All of these things, e-bike tours, I'm like, don't also do like skateboards and segways, just e-bikes. Because if you're so focused, like when someone's looking for the thing, if you're just that thing, you're the clear choice. So a lot of these businesses we talked about last time, the common theme was they just did one thing.
Huh.
Single SKU, baby.
So let's talk about like marketing strategies that are working and not working.
Okay.
I'm going to go, I think the easiest way to do this, I have a big list of them.
Okay.
I'm going to go through them and you just say working, not working, discuss.
All right.
So number one, SEO. Your thoughts?
I think that's a discuss for sure. I'm actually investing heavily in SEO right now.
Oh, do tell.
I am. And I think I actually work with a really good proactive SEO guy. But at its core, I feel like SEO hasn't changed in forever. Mm-hmm. Like the stuff that works short term has changed. But at the end of the day, it's like Google's getting their algorithms getting smarter and smarter and smarter. And like they just want to serve the best content to people. So to me, I would consider making YouTube videos SEO now. Massively, because they're ranking on the top of search. I've also now seen people who are doing really good YouTubing and then linking into their descriptions to websites are getting a huge boost of traffic.
Yeah.
So I think SEO used to be like the blog, the 500 to 1,000 word blog, the headline, the H1s, and the meta tags and descriptions. And I think that stuff matters. But like, I think now it's important, but I think you need to go beyond that now and make sure like, you know, does heat, like there's like such weird terms for us. It's like, does heat kill mold? So for me now, it's going to be like a short video on that, a short blog on that. And then I'm going to make sure I'm not just like, I'm going to give them the answer they're really looking for. Mm-hmm. It's like the answer they're actually looking for. It's not, does heat kill mold? It's like, what do I do about my mold problem? So creating the content that gets them where they need to go. Also, now we're using a lot of these types of shorts and clips from podcasts, and we're infusing them to all of our blogs. But I think no matter what, whether it's AI or ChatGPT or Google, people searching for stuff on the internet is not going anywhere. I think it can't be a landscape where it's 100% paid. So I would say discuss, and that's the way I'm approaching it.
Interesting. So SEO in the traditional format of making blog posts where you like fill in the word. So you just like, does heat kill mold or whatever like that. It used to be you make a blog post about it, try to rank number one. But now, as you said, the links are showing up lower and lower on Google, and their AI stuff is getting better and better and better. To be honest, as a consumer, I prefer just the AI than rather clicking on some stupid website. I don't want to do that.
No.
However, I have noticed one interesting thing. So effectively, like blog SEO I've seen is, here's the thing. I think it's died, but a new form has birthed. Yeah. Let's call it AI SEO, like SEO 2.0.
Yeah.
I look at the organic listing or the organic referrals on my site. Top 5, you know what's recently creeped up? ChatGPT. Interesting. How long do people stay on the page? 2 minutes plus. Very good for a page. Retention, super high. Sign up rate, very high. And I'm like, huh. So ChatGPT is referring a lot of people to us. So a lot of people view AI, ChatGPT, or, you know, insert Perplexity, whatever these services are, as stealing traffic. They're actually linking back. So if you use Perplexity, it does a good job of saying, here's the best air purifiers. By the way, Jaspr is one of the cooler ones. You should click on it. And you click on it, then you go to the Jaspr site. It almost kind of just sold you on it. So it's almost like it's a really good form of traffic. So one of the things we're doing is we're putting out more and more blog posts, but we're done with the days of saying like, what is the best copywriting exercises? Like that's maybe one thing we could do, but instead we're putting out blog posts that are genuinely interesting that we personally created. So it's like, here's my experience doing a client's SEO. So it's putting an experience on the internet. AI will ingest that and regurgitate it whenever it's needed and then show us as a source.
Agreed.
So that's the new form of SEO that I see emerging.
Same.
The old form of SEO of like H1 tags and stuff, Google's like, I think that it's just, we're beyond that.
I think so too.
That's just an ever receding landscape that's like, whatever.
Yeah.
And also now people can just write a billion blog posts in 2 seconds with AI. So it's like you putting out a bunch of blog posts is like not super interesting anymore.
Agreed.
Yeah. The other form of SEO we're doing is like for swipefile.com, we implemented a thing where I actually write 2 sentences about a piece of marketing I find. So we're talking about cool Instagram ads. Like I saw a cool one on Calm. So I'll post that ad, write 2 sentences about it. And then an OpenAI plugin goes and writes the rest of it. And that's the type of SEO that we're doing right now.
I think so.
And every time there's a new model, we can update the model or update the prompt and it goes and does the entire site. So all 3,000 posts are updated at the same time.
Wow.
And it costs us like $4 each time we do a run. So that's the new form of SEO that I'm seeing. And I love what you said that when you look at Google, you're seeing like videos and stuff like that. That's SEO. That's a great point. I didn't even think about it like that. It's not video SEO. It's just like, what's on the search engines? How do I get on top of that?
Videos are there. Images are there. A lot.
The other thing is top of feed. So I think that's a form of SEO. But like for Instagram, how do you do SEO? You're not writing blog posts. You're staying on top of someone's feed. So you're recording a thing about Jaspr and then putting a clip up that gets likes, that gets on top of someone's feed. So I think top of feed search is legit SEO as well.
I do too.
But it is harder. Like it requires you now to do a lot more things than just simply write a blog post. Now you're kind of like a full media company.
Yep.
Yeah. But also it's easier than ever to be a media company.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, SEO, good, bad?
I think the word, it's evolved so much.
Yeah.
That like, I think it's just called creating content now.
Yeah. Agreed. I already know what you're going to say on this one. Podcast guesting.
Woo!
Good.
I love podcasts. Excellent.
Yeah. You've done really well with it.
80% of our business.
But I also would say that you're good at it though. I think you're good at it.
Well, this applies to all marketing and product. Yeah, if it sucks, then it doesn't matter what the thing is.
I don't know. I met some founders that are just not good on video. They're better writing or not being in front of the screen.
No, that's fair. But I mean, like, if you put out shitty videos or your product sucks, like, I think all types of mediums, if you're bad, then do something else. So like, but podcasting, if done well, is like the coolest, most effective thing ever. So I think education is the most amazing form of marketing, period. And so we don't really create any short form. Like there's this whole world, which I'm seeing a really interesting trend right now where the Instagrammers are dying that just create short form content. So Black Friday just passed. So now we've just been doing our annual debrief on like, where did our sales come from? Man, 90% of all of our affiliate sales came from people who had a podcast also. So anyone that was just like the Instagrammer, even the health and wellness, low toxic mama, that was crushing it. Like these were the Air Doctor crowd for years, selling tons of product, just like doing a 1-minute video recommending products. They're having their lunch eaten by people with depth, whether it's a really great newsletter, more rare, harder to do, or a podcast. But like the podcast people have good shorts. It's hard to turn, you can't really turn shorts into longs, but you can turn longs into shorts. Yeah. Like right now. So, yeah, I think, and honestly, there's a lot of different ways to get on a podcast. So people think what does podcast mean? You could do podcast ads. So some people just run a few ads and be like, it doesn't work. But it's like, just like any other thing, how much did you, dude, like I put in the contract. It's like, am I going to be a pre-roll or a mid-roll when I run an ad? If I'm a mid-roll, is there another mid-roll in front of me? Because if I'm the second ad, why am I so like most people, they don't think, they're just like these big media director people. I'm like, no. My mid-roll must be the first one. Or also like ordering off the menu, my favorite thing. So they're like, here's our pre-roll, here's our mid-roll, here's our end roll. I'm like, I want an organic mention. They're like, we don't do that. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, yes, you do. Like, I'll take 5. I just want you to bring it up in the conversation. People will do that. So I personally think that going where the highest attention span is a good idea. So I'm interested in podcasts. I like speaking at events. I would even do a roundtable with 12 people. I'd rather go with where there's less people with a higher attention span. I'm interested in YouTube. Competing on TikTok and Instagram for 15 seconds of people's like swipe where I don't want to go. People are like, you need captions. I'm like, anywhere where I have to market where people aren't listening and I need captions, I'm not that interested in.
That's a funny way to think about it.
What the hell?
I need captions. That I have a lot of friends that have put out books, including myself. And it's funny, whenever you see big spikes in sales, it's like, that's when a podcast dropped.
Right.
Like every author goes like, so I put a request out to get guests on the podcast, and dude, all these authors apply. To be honest, I don't want to talk to most of them because it sounds boring, but that is how books are sold now. Podcasts. That's like the number one way. That's the biggest channel.
I've been thinking about doing a book for a while now, called You Are What You Breathe. So you are what you eat, but air. I'm not going to anytime soon. I feel like I've been working on MikeyGPT and Jaspr GPT, mostly just MikeyGPT. So I'm getting every podcast I've ever been on transcribed, and then basically using that to create our content and our captions. So I'm like, anything that I could ever say about the product or any question that gets answered, I'm like, I don't know which podcast or when or how I said it, but I know I've said it before on a podcast. So it's just the most natural way for someone to create content. I also think if a founder is not good at podcasts, you can find someone who can do podcasts for you.
Who could bring it out of them? Yeah. You know, at AppSumo in the early days of courses, we actually had a bunch of people who were not very good on camera, who were like very good in their business, but not very good on camera. And I was a producer of about 8 to 10 of these different things. So I was like behind the scenes, and you get like some really smart guy, but it's like just boring as hell on camera, or is very nervous. And I found out the way to bring things out of them, and it was actually to contradict them and get them a little bit mad. And they'd be like, yeah, the best way to hire people is like, well, I heard this was the best way to hire people. They're like, no, that's not right. The way you do it. And
Nice.
Yeah, I got you.
Sweet.
Because if you're really flat on camera, it's not great. You have to kind of like ham it up a little bit. So, okay. Yeah. Podcasting, guesting.
Two thumbs up for that.
Yeah. Good.
And if you're
blogging,
if you're delaying yourself being a host, literally go on Tiny Podcasts, hire a podcast booking person, go on podcasts with no guests. Just start doing pods. It's fine. It's just a Zoom call. Are you scared of Zoom? Because it's just Zoom.
Yeah. Okay. Next one. Blog posts. Traditional blog posts.
I don't know. No. Pass.
You don't do them?
I just think it's part of the SEO thing.
Yeah.
I think now if you can train an AI on yourself, just like I said, so my version of traditional blog posts is going to be trained from MikeyGPT, which is me on the pods. So the podcast, the blogs will be traditional, but they'll be written in my voice. And then we are infusing shorts from the social media. So it's like, because it's MikeyGPT, it will write a post and then it'll be like, almost like the source thing from AI. It's like, here are 3 podcasts where you talked about this. Give us the clips, and then we're inserting those clips in the podcast, in the blogs. I think that's going to be good.
Interesting.
It's too soon to say, but I think it's going to be good.
My bread and butter for starting off was all blog posts, but then it's kind of funny, like all these social media company, X, Instagram, whatever, they're just blogs. It's like you could post pictures in text and put it out to people and they comment on it. It's the same thing, except they just did it a lot better.
Yeah.
It's better. It's more moderated, like better spam prevention, all that kind of stuff. And there's a built-in network of people. Right now, if I put a blog post out on any of my blogs, then I have to send that out to my email list being
to get people
look
to
at
go?
the blog, because how else would anyone see it?
Yeah.
On a social network, that's already built in. So that's why social networks are eating blogs lunch in terms of that. So, but however, I will say, after some time, a lot of the social media posts either kind of go into the ether or the platform itself kind of fades out. Yep. Like I wrote a lot of stuff on Facebook back in the day, and now like I don't really use Facebook or anything. So all that stuff is just kind of dead.
I like YouTube for that reason.
Yeah. Instead, I guess YouTube could be susceptible to the same thing, but on a blog that you own, at least you can make it live there.
Right.
And then you can get people signed up to the email list. I would say it's more of an advanced move now. I used to tell people in the beginning they should start a blog. Now I'm like, I'm not so sure. Maybe you should just write on a social media platform first and then have a blog if you're going to be serious about it.
Yeah.
But for example, this post, like your other interviews, it's called like Mike Feldstein, and then it's got your main interview, and then below it, it's got like 20 short clips. And then it's got my notes that, I write over here. And so then I write a couple pages of notes based off of this conversation. So all those things live on one place called copywritingcourse.com/Mike Feldstein or something.
Nice.
That is helpful. But overall, unless you have a business around it, I think that's really hard to do.
I think writing essays, like I think done is the simple blog post. But I think if you're going to if you're willing to write an essay and go deep and like a wait, but why? Like a friggin' deep, awesome blog. It's not even called a blog. I'm going to call it an essay.
Yeah.
If you're going to write thoughtful essays and then tease out bits of those essays on your social media posts and be like, I went deep here on my essay and share it with people. I think if you're doing it, the bar is just really high. But if you're going to share awesome, unique perspectives, I think that can catch some wind.
I'll tell you what I'm doing recently. So every Friday, we put out a thing called the Swipes newsletter. It does really well.
I know. I love it.
Yeah. People love it.
I copied your email style and it's been amazing.
There you go. You absolutely should. I made a whole video on how to exactly do it. It's free. So here's the cool thing about it, or here's a bad thing. Here's something that didn't work super well. I record it every time. So I write the Swipes email on a Thursday night, and then I record it. I just literally speak the whole thing, and I can add more context. Like on the fly, I'm pretty good with just kind of making up stuff. So I add a little bit more context on there. I recorded between 6 and 10 minute podcasts for each one. Now, for about 2 years, that has not grown. Because a podcast feed that just says like September 6th, 2022, we tried changing up the titles and stuff, but it's like 5 random things that Neville thinks are cool. That's not just the best idea for a podcast on the planet.
Yeah.
It's not the best. It's not going to get any growth, right? So there is a group of people who, if we don't include a podcast, it's like, hey, what happened to the podcast? Same people every time. There's like no new growth on it. So I was like, okay, for 2 years, no growth. This is just not working. However, what if my podcast feed was only cool interviews with people? You, Sam Parr, Noah Kagan. That would be a cool podcast feed. Or what if my podcast feed was kind of like Morgan Housel has a good one where he comes up with a concept, just talks about it, and then another one talks about it. And then if you go through his podcast feed, you're like, any one of these is like a cool listen, right? So it's kind of a helpful feed rather than like, I'm just reading a newsletter. So I've actually been writing essays, publishing them, recording them, and making them a podcast, posting the podcast on the essay
Now
page.
it's like you're teaching people.
Yes. And if it does well, I make a YouTube video about it.
Makes sense.
So I have been putting out blog posts in that sense, and they're just basically essays. They literally come from the essay section of my Swipes email. And that's how I've been putting out blog posts. But I think a little bit dead are the days of just like finding a keyword and making a blog post about it. I don't know that that's necessary anymore because now AI can do that much better than you.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Social media. What are y'all using? What's been a hit? What's been a flop?
Social media, pretty much just Instagram for us.
Really?
Yeah.
No YouTube?
Nope. Next year we'll do more YouTube.
But you're recording long form, right?
Yeah, but we're building a bit of a war chest.
Okay.
Mostly I've been on other people's podcasts. So it's like those go on YouTube. Actually, people who create Jaspr comparison videos, I actually encourage our community to make videos. So like Kyle Lasota,
Yeah.
he made a Jaspr versus Dyson versus Air Doctor YouTube video. He's our most consistent partner too. So when a customer reaches out to us and they're like, what's the difference between Jaspr and Air Doctor? We send them to Kyle's video. So he's like
Health Daddy?
Wellness Daddy.
Wellness Daddy. There you
Wellness
go.
Daddy.
What's up, Kyle?
So Kyle, for example, he created this really valuable piece of content. And now I'm like, Kyle, he loves Jaspr. He uses it authentically. So I'm like, Kyle, why don't I buy you like 5 more air purifiers? You make a head-to-head video of each of them. They're all getting search volume already. I'm like, for us to build out the muscle right now to create YouTube videos makes no sense. It's just a distraction right now. We can't do it all. But I'm like, if you make the videos, we could pay you, or throw your affiliate link in there if you'd like. Throw it in with his Air Doctor videos. He puts in his Air Doctor affiliate link too. And he doesn't say they're bad. He just explains why Jasper's better. So when people ask us why, I send the traffic to them. So I'm using YouTube a lot through partners for bottom of funnel. I'm also actually the Skinny Confidential podcast and a couple others, Jordan Harbinger, when the podcast does well, I'm running our retargeting ads to those podcasts.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, a lot of people won't go and watch an hour, but those who do are sufficiently educated. And I think that whole like 7 touch points of marketing thing is not true when you have an hour together.
This is a thing that used to happen with blog posts. Back in the day when there was a good blog post instead of a YouTube video, people run traffic to that blog post being like, this supplement is the best, this product is the best, whatever it was. Comment tag, that's very smart. Because if on Jaspr.com or like Jaspr YouTube site, if you go, turns out Jasper's the best air purifier, everyone's like, oh, really? Your product won number 1 in your comparison. Who would have
So I am going to start doing some videos like that, but I'm going to start kind of comical, explaining biased video incoming. Here's the deal. Like, I'm just going to call it out. But I do think, and this way, this is a good business concept to me. Instead of us trying to like hoard all of the value ourselves, I would rather link to our partners. So Kyle made like 10 G's this month off of a video he made a year ago. And oh yeah, and we run ads to his video. So like, I'm like, yo, make money, make more videos. This is awesome.
Yeah.
So if other people make videos, so we're not doing YouTube ourselves, but we're investing in YouTube through others.
Why Instagram?
Instagram to me, I believe like TikTok is Android and Instagram is iPhone.
Okay. Interesting. Nice.
A friend of mine from my local coffee shop, she was saying she has a baby registry called Populist, and she was saying that her Instagram traffic like converts at like double or triple her TikTok traffic, and the LTV, like their baby's registries, they spend like $3,000 on the baby versus like $800. So TikTok generally has a less affluent, less high LTV, high conversion rate crowd.
It's younger people.
And I think it is younger. And I think people are bringing, I mean, I doubt for her baby registry, it's like younger moms maybe, but I just feel like a little bit, if what Instagram has less attention span than let's say YouTube, or it's like podcast, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter oddly is like short form, but I think the attention span is like higher still. It's less.
People are on there a lot.
You're on there with certain intensity, looking to engage. TikTok, you're like looking to like turn your brain off and flip.
Yeah.
So Instagram is also where our partners are. It's where our partners have been putting their YouTube clips. So it's just like, it's where our people are. And it's very effortless for us to, we view Instagram honestly like a landing page. So like our Instagram gets a lot of traffic and it drives a lot of traffic to the website. So we actually got rid of our link tree also a month ago and we just sent it right to the product page.
Nice.
Like we didn't, what link tree? What are we doing here? Like just, and then we had it to the homepage and then we're like, let's just send them to where the Jaspr's at. But I treat those highlight reels and now more and more, like each section of our website is like how Jaspr's good for mold, sleep, why it's aesthetic. Each section of our landing page is going to be our top 6 Instagram posts. So I more think about Instagram like a landing page where like people are coming to check me out, more like kind of bottom funnel, honestly, middle and bottom funnel. That's not where we get people, but it's if people want to like see lots of pictures of the Jaspr and like learn about us, it's like an extension of our website more than any other social media platform is.
That's interesting because a lot of restaurants and stuff are moving to just like a single page. Because right there's like Facebook, Twitter,
Yeah.
It's like your favorite Korean restaurant doesn't need to be posting on Twitter all the time.
No.
Instead, they just have an Instagram page, which is super easy to update.
Very
And
aesthetic.
You every week you just post one picture if you want, happy customer, one of the dishes.
You could literally
like
pin
that.
your menu.
It's simple. Yeah, it's just really easy versus like learning WordPress and getting hacked and stuff like that. I think a lot of people are moving to just Instagram for that.
Yeah, I think so too.
And especially for physical businesses. Pardon me. Physical businesses are moving towards that. If
Like
you have
in
a tire
real life
shop
and product.
Yeah, if you have a tire shop, just have an Instagram page.
You don't even need a website.
You don't really need anything.
You can have and then you can have the
That is your website.
That is.
It's a page on the web. That is your site.
Yeah, and like if you have a URL, like forward it to your Instagram.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be self-hosted anymore. I think that's kind of like you have to have like, Neville's TireShop.com. Instead it could be like Instagram.com/Neville's Tire Shop. And that's it. That's the whole thing.
And like it could be like our pricing and then a carousel of like your pricing, book here. You can use ManyChat. Like it's just such a hack right now.
Okay, so what about digital ads? Do y'all use ads? Do you
We
forward
only do
ads?
remarketing.
Remarketing meaning like you
Retargeting people who visited our website or our Instagram page. We only show ads to those people. So I only am using ads to engage with people who have already come to us. I'm not using it to scour the internet and populate people's feed.
Interesting. Okay, what about physical ads? Do you do any at all?
Yes.
Really?
Well, what do you say when you mean physical ads? And then I think a heavy yes. And I think this is going to be our biggest strategy of 2025.
Yeah, if you gave me a flyer that says Jaspr is cool on a piece of paper, that's a physical ad.
Okay.
If you send a mailer, that's a physical
So
ad.
there's the most beautiful office in Austin. It's at a place called Nutrabolt. They own C4, that energy drink.
Yeah.
So we have 7 Jaspers. They have the most incredible gym at their office. So we have Jaspers like in their sauna area, their cold plunge area. They have a speakeasy alive and well just for like people, their crowd to go
Where's
and
this
use.
again?
It's near my house, near Cuernavaca.
Okay, yeah.
It's like between Westlake and Bee Cave. But I'm starting to get Jaspers into more bathrooms of wellness restaurants. And we have this wall sign that says like Jasper's here so you don't breathe in when you just flush down. And now I've been spending the last few months meeting with a lot of hotels. So we're going to be in by February because we're sold out for Black Friday. We're delaying to February, but we're Jasperizing 3 hotels. So also fun thing, dude. So we're not even charging the hotels money. I realized hotels, they don't really understand how much money that they can make off of affiliate. And I've now seen a few hotels like trying. That's not exciting to them. Their incentives are, what they do understand is occupancy rates, 5-star reviews on TripAdvisor, and not spending money. So originally I was approaching them like, hey, buy Jaspers for some of your rooms and we'll give you affiliate commission. And then like if it works, all the money is in the affiliate commission. So I'm like, instead, I'm just going to give them the Jaspers for free. They don't own them. I can pull them out anytime. And I'm helping the hotels with their messaging. So now, let's say you go into this, and only nice hotels that are like wellness focused. So you come in, sign right when you walk in. It's like, welcome to your sleep sanctuary. I'm like, let's rebrand your guest room to your sleep sanctuary. So I'm now helping them with the dark lights, using the Jaspr will be in there. And then there'll be very subtle messaging like for optimal sleep, use fan speed 2 on dark mode. And then beside the bed, there's a little thing that talks about our sleep study, how the average person sleeps 25 minutes more per night with a Jaspr in their room, 18% more deep sleep, falls asleep. And then, there'll be another very subtle touch point that's like, if you want Jaspr quality air at home, use code Ritz-Carlton for 20% off. So we'll have the QR code, we'll have the tracking, but I believe there's no better place for us than hotel rooms. And I'm willing to give them hundreds of Jaspers. And now, once they're in every room, so MGM, some of their hotels are charging $95 a night to be in the Stay Well suite. They give you this like little cheap, crappy, like $99 air purifier and like vitamin C in the shower. Like, what the hell? Like, instead, imagine every room has a Jaspr in it. So now they can call themselves a clean air hotel. I'm also working with a group called the Building Biology Institute, trying to convince them on this. It's not going to be hard. Take a bit more time though. We're all like 300 of the building biologists. When they travel, they're going to test the air in every hotel room they're in. So, like Seed Oil Scout or like TripAdvisor for hotel air. So when we go into the hotels, we check for mold, we check the air. So there'll be a website where you can find hotels with clean air. Like, do they have mold? Do they have clean air? So when you travel, you can find a hotel that has a great environment. I think hotels are in the sleep service business. And in order, you need a good bed. It needs to be cool air, no loud noise, not too dry, and clean air is essential for good sleep. So for me, physical is all about going where my customers are and in a way where the attention span is high. So instead of like a flyer or like a billboard, I'm going for hotel rooms.
That's smart. That's
going to be our biggest strategy.
So no flyers or anything. You're just like putting because you have an actual product that's large and they can see it and feel it in action. You're just doing that.
Yeah. Like if you have some supplement, you can't get like Whole Foods. Like it's hard to get into places, but free Jaspers is something that people want.
Okay. You've done physical ads. Side note on this, conferences. You've done conferences, right?
Yeah.
So you have like a booth, and you put out, what materials do you put out? You have a banner, you have a sign.
Dude, another thing, I was working on my like crazy complex banner. Thank God, I at the Berkshire Hathaway AGM, they have a huge convention center just of Berkshire brands. They have See's Candy, they have like the Dairy Queen, they have like RVs, they have NetJets. It's just a Berkshire trade show, like right beside the thing. And I realized I don't read any of the small things. I look for like the big logo of what it is. I look to see the thing and then I talk to the human. So instead, just have a big turquoise sign that's like Jaspr Air Purifier, so people know it's an air purifier. And I do no handing, no swag, nothing. We do demos at the booth where we have like humidifiers and incense and candles to show it working. But I'm like, the whole point of being at the show is like talking to people. So I'm not trying to like no one buys off like those little swag bags they give you with like 40 flyers that you throw into the garbage when you get to your hotel. I'm like, anything good free in here? I'm not reading nothing. So for us, it's minimal, just very clean, aesthetic brand stuff. Then 2 or 3 Jaspers at the booth, and we'll come show you how it works, and we'll talk to people one at a time.
Interesting. And what do you say? What do you say on those banners? Like, feel clean air. What do you say?
Jaspr, the ultimate air purifier. That's it.
Interesting.
If it's a really big booth, like a 20 by 20, then we have a couple of like those skinny ones that have like a picture of the filter and like a 3D one. Yeah. It's like commercial grade air purifier for your home. But I found the less signage, just like be bold with the brand and then let's talk to people.
I used to make videos of this at South by Southwest because I would walk around like the convention center and be like, what do these people sell? And they have the most hilarious, they have like a lot of small print. And I'm like, I literally don't know. The worst offender, I got some press passes to Consensus, the crypto thing that was in Austin. And I went there, just walked through the thing. And oh man, I could not figure out what like any of these companies. It's hard. Yeah. I'm just like, tell me like there's a few that were just like smart contracts through Ethereum. And I'm like, okay, I get that. But then others were like so many buzzwords in a row. I was just like, I literally don't know what that means.
Same.
Yeah. So good on just making it like air purifier, and people are like, what's this about? And then you talk to them.
Why is it different? And then also like at the booth, you got to be good. You got to pull people in. It's like, do you breathe air? And then they're like, yes. And then I'm like, next question, do you filter your water? If no, I'm like, keep walking. If you don't already filter your water, like you're not ready for the air part of your journey.
Yeah.
And then if yes, you filter your water, I go, do you have an air purifier? Yes. Which one? Then they tell me, and then I tell them what's different. And we found like 70+% of our customers already own air purifiers, and they weren't sure if they were working.
You get one of those like little chamber, like a phone booth, and like fill it up with like incense smoke and then like filter it out.
We can.
That could be cool. That sounds like a lot more complexity though.
Hey, it's Neville here. And let me tell you something about making all this content.
It costs time and money and effort to make all of these things, and we put them out for free. For example, to film this costs money. To edit this costs money. To spend the time uploading it to all the different social networks costs time and human capital and money and software and all kinds of stuff. And all I ask for you in return is to just like, subscribe, and comment to something. This is a free way that you can return to me. You never have to buy anything from me ever, but I really do ask that you just click the like button. It's free for you. Or maybe even leave a comment, or maybe share it with someone. These are all ways that really, really help me out, but cost you nothing. And it's a great way to return the favor. So if you like whatever I do over here, just make sure to like, subscribe, comment on all the different platforms. And that means the world to me. Thank you so much. I hope to keep informing you, educating, and entertaining. Talk to you later. Emails.
Also in Austin, now we're starting to, Wes was here before. Now when anyone buys a Jaspr locally in Austin, we're delivering it ourselves. And he's infusing like a little bit of a breath work into the, so we take away the box. It's like, put your nose over the Jaspr, take some deep breaths. Now we're like, come back away, take another breath. Like, yeah, my air is nasty. So obviously this won't scale, but it's awesome. So we're doing that now. Before I came here, I went to Volkswagen. They just came out with the new Volkswagen Buzz.
Yeah.
It's an electric minibus. So that's going to be our Jaspr delivery mobile.
The electric Volkswagen. Yeah, it's pretty eye-catching.
Yeah.
That thing.
Yeah.
Is it a cool car?
Yeah, it's so cool.
Huh. Interesting. I've seen that, and there are some like cool like minivan type things coming out. And that's probably the biggest electric car out, right?
I think so.
Yeah. It looks neat. Emails. Do you send email?
I do.
You do. Yeah.
Oh, I love email. I love email.
I get them.
Dude, podcasts and emails. So during Black Friday, I emailed way too much. I'm sorry, everybody. I was emailing like 3-4 times a day during Black Friday. My last email was yesterday. Cyber Week ends in 4 hours. Like, dude, they all work so good.
They work. Yeah, we lose hundreds of people during the Black Friday thing because
like on unsubscribes.
Yeah, just because some people are, and you know, honestly, I unsubscribe for things too, so
Same.
I get it. Yeah.
Sometimes I look for my friends' emails, and then if they unsubscribe, I just quickly resubscribe them, and I send them a screenshot of the unsubscribe. Yeah, what's it called? Education, man. It seems to be so. I realize though, like the first email of the welcome flow is like a little more offerish, just in case they were like right on the fence. But after that, it's just like, tell them about the sleep study, tell them about the mold study, and then like an email of like 5 reasons you shouldn't buy a Jaspr. What's that about? I'm like, if you live in a rainforest and you sleep perfect every night, like you don't need a Jaspr. So like I find that like, and then kind of like what you did, I really liked with your swipes when I would get like you in the real world doing stuff that was awesome. Yeah. Whether it's you at someone's birthday, or you with the dog, all the relatable stuff. Like I'm like, why am I even reading this stuff? But yeah, it's nice. And then if you like when you would see a business, some of the favorite things for me that you had in your email were like, if you'd like see a sign in the wild and then take a picture and comment on it, it's hard to beat that. Yeah. So if I'm like in a hotel and I test the air and then I write an email about what I was breathing and pictures of me like lugging my Jaspr around the world, it works so good.
Yeah, that relatable stuff for some reason, even on Twitter, it's like sometimes I don't have anything interesting to say and I just share a picture from my camera roll of me doing something and it always just works really well. That social media is social.
I think the last thing that I will outsource from the business or delegate is email writing.
It's real. People ask me all the time, who's a good email writer? Just take over all my emails. I'm like, they have to write with you. Like it's really difficult to just find someone to just outsource that to.
And my best emails often take 25 minutes. I like going to a coffee shop with one task. I'm like, I'm not allowed to leave until this one thing's done. But like, I don't just go to the coffee shop to like, let me just work for an hour. Let's just co-work. I'm like, no, I'm going there to write one email and I can't leave till I'm done. And I'm not doing anything else till that email is done. And then I'm like, let's write about mold today. Let's write about sleep. Let's write about air quality in schools, air quality in dental offices, and just do it. And then AI is so good for the pictures. I find AI images in emails, like nothing better to like show a realistic dust particle than AI now. So like no one's expecting that to be real, or like a mold spore with a face on it, like an angry mold spore. Like AI is acceptable if you're not trying to make it real.
Yeah. What is this good business thing that you're talking about? You were telling me about this.
Yeah. So I'm actually starting a podcast in the next couple months called Good Business. My first 10 episodes are going to be solo pods. And then I'll start doing stuff with guests. And it's all for me it will be all about highlighting other businesses. Like a really good example, like the Squatch guy. You go to Squatch.
Yeah.
This is really cool because it's like a business that doesn't have the nicest materials in the world, but you could just tell when you roll in, like the vibe here is strong. The community's awesome. Like the sauna's ghetto, but the conversations are probably excellent. And then I've been to a few podcasts, has guests at the Wolf Den at Squatch. And I found out like these were just trainers who then, because there was a podcast studio at the gym, were like, 50% off or whatever it is. It's like a discount. So this gym fostered so much community, and like it didn't care about the fanciest, newest machines, but like it's great for the community. I think businesses like that build soul for cities at large, and like having a podcast studio in the business. So highlighting businesses that to me are just like dripping in authenticity and community. And then for Jaspr right now, like we're investing heavily in community. So Wes is doing, literally we hired a wellness director. So we're doing like saunas. We have a portable 12-foot sauna now and a portable cold plunge that we're like setting up at the lake and at local coffee shops. And we've been facilitating one-on-one breath work for people locally. Literally they come to my house, have world-class breath work, sauna, cold plunge, and a healthy meal. So it's like these things don't seem like they would scale. We're working on buying the school in our neighborhood. So all of these things, it's like, how could that possibly be? I just think investing in your community and investing in your business and doing things that don't necessarily, like investing in your health, you know, doing all these things that don't necessarily seem like they're like reinvesting in Facebook ads would be like the most obvious way to reinvest in a business. Going deep on community and health.
Well, I mean, these things, quote unquote, don't scale, but if you record them and put them out to the internet, they do scale.
Yeah.
So all these things that didn't scale in the past, now scale.
Nice.
So I mean, Eric from Beard Brand, they have this office, you know, in Mueller over here in Austin, and they bought a barbershop. They bought the building next to them and turned it into a barbershop.
Perfect.
Now, owning a barbershop, historically not the most profitable thing on the entire planet. However, they record a lot of the transformations. So like your hair to a better haircut, whatever. But like one of our friends, Joel, he grew out his hair. He looked pretty homeless. And then they trimmed him up and made him look nice. They record that and then put it out.
And they sell a product, right?
And then they have a whole line of beard oils.
Or like Ryan Holiday's bookstore. How many people have talked about this guy's bookstore?
Exactly.
Clearly the bookstore is not the moneymaker, but like he seems happy in it. What a cool place to go and do a podcast.
It's also their office.
It's also your office.
Yeah.
So these types of things like bookstore, not good. Barbershop, not good. But when you bring them all together and you have something that scales beyond just that, I think it's like an incredible way to create content.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be the new way for retail, because it's the old retail model of like selling to a couple of 100 people around you is not working. But if you have some way to film the content or promote it through that store, I mean, I think even like Tesla stores, it's like they just have like a car in there and they rent some expensive space.
We want to do that. We want to do it at Jaspr. We want to have a clean air experience where we're going to have like a kitchen and a bedroom and basically like kind of like the smoke box thing you talked about. We'll have like the baby's room. We'll have like a master bedroom. We'll have like a kitchen. We'll have like an incense and then like a gym room. And you'll go in. I'd love to get like a South Congress space or something, like really prime real estate. Because like how much does an eyeball on Facebook cost and what's the intensity? Whereas like someone in my store, it's kind of like the hotel thing. I want to go where attention span's really high. And then if we have like a physical, or we're probably going to do a house and call it Jaspr House and just have like a real house that's like our retail location. And people can just like come to the house and like go to the bedrooms and create content from there. Have a podcast studio.
I think Casper, Satva, and all those mattress companies, they did that.
There's no way they sell that many mattresses at the store.
No, but people say, well, I want a Casper, but I got to feel it. It's one of those things where it's like shoes.
Showroom.
Yeah, like, and also it's expensive thing. So you're like, I want to sit on it first or lay on it. And so they have a showroom and people go try it out. Yeah. Not everyone goes and buys a mattress, but they're just like,
it's
at least
way
try
cheaper.
it out.
So I heard at one point, like what killed Casper was how much, I heard they were losing 80 million a year. The whole like race to the more like 100 sleeps free, the return policy is like, and everybody was just getting it for their summer apartment.
Yeah.
And then like donating it. And like, you didn't feel bad because you knew it went to charity. So like, I'm not doing no 100 free sleeps with Jaspr. I would love to, but like it would destroy the business because of people who take advantage of it. So they probably realized paying $40,000 a month for rent to let people come lie on it for 5 minutes is way cheaper than people buying it and returning it. The return rate, I'd be neat to see what is the Casper return rate in cities that have Casper showrooms.
Oh, that'd be interesting. Yeah, it was almost too, well, I think their problem was you can't return a mattress.
Right.
Right? Okay.
Right.
How do you package up a mattress to return it?
That's unfolding.
Obviously, it's just it's impossible. So their return, they have to just eat the whole cost.
Yeah.
That's insane. So I think that was one of their biggest problems. I think with the Jaspr, if someone returns it, they could actually return the machine, right?
They can.
I mean, it's probably going to be expensive, but you can have it to where like they go box it up at the UPS store or something like that.
Yeah, right now we cover the full return. We send them a shipping label. We send them a new box. We make it nice. It only happens like 3.5% of the time, so we can afford to. But I'm sure if we started advertising like 1 year free Jaspr, like that's what people hear. If you're using your return policy as your main hook for marketing, this is not a good path. Like that was like their main call to action. Like try it for 100 days free. It's like, maybe I will.
Damn, dude, once again, we've gone way over our time and we haven't even talked about the main stuff.
That's okay.
I have like literally 2 pages of stuff. Let's talk about this though. I'm just curious.
They haven't kicked us out yet.
Well, I want to respect your time, but also, so AI stuff. Using AI for any of the stuff, any of your marketing at all?
Yeah, we talked about it a bit. I'm making a MikeyGPT.
Okay. Have you used Notebook LLM for that?
No.
Yeah, notebookllm.google.com. You basically like type in like jasper.co or whatever as a source or any of your podcasts. It gets a transcription.
Does it?
Yeah, dude, it's instant. It's
transcript?
Yeah, everything. You upload everything you want, just like
How would it get it from this?
dump all the crap you want into it.
How do you dump the audio in?
Add a source. Click
Spotify, Apple Podcasts?
I don't know all the details, but they're adding more
but
stuff.
You can do it.
Right. Yeah. This is a solvable problem.
Notebook,
and then
Google.
I could do a couple of cool things. One, you could ask it questions based on your stuff. Okay. So that's step one. You kind of do that with ChatGPT a little bit already. But then you could also make a podcast out of it, like a fully artificial podcast.
Oh, that I've seen.
Like have like Mike ask someone about it and it answers what it thinks. Like it could do a couple different things. But there are these things where it's like, instead of building your own model, that might be over. Like you just upload it to this and it'll be fine.
I think there's also a decent have you seen that like Viggle?
No.
So like Viggle.ai, it's like that thing where like you upload your face and like you can have like you dancing and like doing cool stuff. So there's like new AI tools that the world doesn't catch up for like 3 to 6 months on. And I think using those has your new, like I saw Hormozy did one yesterday where it's like the top caption is just like, your bank account when you focus on the same thing for 3 years. And it's like him coming on stage, like hyping up a crowd. Like it's just an AI silly thing of him. But people haven't seen that AI silly thing yet. So it's just like a one-liner and then him dancing. I think it's pretty interesting. Like if I did one of those, it's like, you know, me when I slept at a hotel that had clean air and no mold. And then it's just like me doing an outrageous dance. But like it's something that's entertaining that people haven't seen yet. I think those like trendy tools, if you can stay on top of them, can give you a few months of like creating content effortlessly before everybody catches on.
This is interesting. With all the AI stuff going, I think it's going to like eat into the white collar world, right? What used to take 50 people is going to take 1 person, that kind of thing. I don't think it's going to go away. I just think it's going to shift a lot. I've heard of more about like Generation Tool Belt, that kind of thing, where like kids are like, I want to be a makeup artist or I want to be a party planner, something that like historically wasn't like a high respect job. But now you're like, oh, like being an accountant might go away more so than a makeup artist.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like our parents thought like being a lawyer or a doctor, that was like the big job.
That was the
now
thing.
I know a lot of doctors and I don't think they all love their jobs. There are some, you know, but I think they have hard jobs. It's kind of like almost blue collar work. They have to go sit in an office or a place and like see people all day. They can't miss work. I'm at home doing nothing all day and my work's still getting done. So for them, like,
and you're making the money of like doctors don't make that much money unless they're an entrepreneurial doctor.
Yeah, unless they're like part of a business or something like that, then they can make more. But even then, they still have to be at a place at a certain time. They have to be like ready. They can't show up hungover. You know, like I could be drunk while doing I could be drunk right now. No one's gonna care. So there's a shift to each generation of like what the good job was. You know, well, back in 1700 in Ireland, it'd be like, hey, you better work in the mines. Otherwise, you're not going to have a job. But then new technology comes along, new things come along. So with AI, I'm just kind of like, what do you think your kids are going to grow up to be? Like, what job do you think they are going to be best prepared for?
Well, I'll start by saying, I don't know about your school ecosystem, maybe similar, but like in Canada, there was applied high school courses and there was academic. Applied meant you go to college. Academic meant you go to university. And like, if you went to college, you were like shamed and called dumb. Like if you weren't trying to be like, somehow a Bachelor of Arts was more respected than becoming an electrician. I don't know how that happened, but that was the thing. And now trades are some of the best companies there are. And like, instead of paying for school, you like make money the whole time.
Yeah.
And there was like apprentices. It was like, those guys are crushing it. There's really no broke plumbers. Like it's hilarious.
It's kind of funny because they're being glorified. Cody Sanchez is always talking about sweaty startups. And I think I've known a lot of people like, Cody, I love the sweaty startup. They love that idea of like a physical business. And then also on TikTok, we're talking about this with Bilawal Sidhu, is like an A16 scout guy. He used to work for Google. And he's talking about like, there's this glorification, these blue collar jobs of someone's like, I'm an electrician for 6 months in Ohio. And then they go travel the world and go to Hawaii for 6 months. And then they come back and then do their electrical work again, make money and go.
I think starting a really good trade school right now is an incredible opportunity. Like an amazing one. If you can have like a modern trade school that teaches them how to, I have a 26-year-old contractor here in Austin. He's like the best contractor I've ever had. He comes to my house. He like takes a picture from his iPad. He already has like a 3D render of my whole house and Bluetooth. He's sending me like renders that would have cost me thousands years ago on the spot of like pushing some buttons. He's like, here's what your backyard will look like. So he's leveraging technology in an incredible way. So a trade school that teaches you how to sell, teaches you how to run a business just as much as how to do the trade.
Yes. Okay. So this is the biggest problem because I've seen people be like, I should just be a plumber. But here's the thing. If you're a freelance plumber, you have to get clients. And so the way you get clients is you go on these different gig sites like Thumbtack or something like that. You have to build up a reputation. I think it's kind of like a power law where you get these top plumbers doing all the work and the bottom ones are kind of like struggling to get, not all these plumbers are balling out.
Go back to that Instagram thing. Like you don't need a website. You just need to like Google like best plumber Instagrams. And like go on Upwork and ask someone to copy that. Like you don't need the website. There's like Square and Stripe and online booking. Like just don't suck. Answer the phone. Like literally any service company I had, our unfair advantage was answering the phone. And if we didn't, calling people back.
What do you think of this business? The unlimited agency business. I feel like in the last 2 years, I've seen a big glut of these, especially on Twitter, growing. I think it was started by Design Pickle. Remember designpickle.com?
Yes.
They were the first ones I personally ever saw do it, where they're like unlimited graphic design, all you want, $500 a month, whatever the price was. And so you submit a ticket and they make like your banner, whatever.
Yep.
So then I think everyone started copying those. And there's been a few people on Twitter that are like, I make $1 billion a week doing this. And so everyone started copying it. And now I'm seeing a lot of them like,
I don't believe in that.
This isn't exactly what we thought. Because I think as a customer, like you're probably their ideal customer, a small, medium-sized business that needs like help with certain things. You wouldn't want to pay $5,000 a month, but you're only using it like once.
Exactly.
Right? At that point, you could just pay some freelancer or hire someone yourself.
It's either someone's getting ripped off, and like that's how it goes. Either I'm using it and they're gonna like cancel me because of fine print, or I'm not using it and I'm going to cancel them because I don't like seeing my credit card get smashed every month for something I'm not using. I think the amount of businesses who are trying to subscription themselves that aren't supposed to be subscription businesses are killing themselves. Like, Eli, the travel guy.
Okay,
he's in Austin.
Okay,
you've met him before. He was at Kyle's thing.
Oh, Kyle. Okay.
Kyle,
I know Eli. Sorry, I know Eli.
You know Eli.
Yeah, I've had great conversations with Eli. Yeah.
So he's got this concierge travels company, and I'm always like, but he like, it's like a few grand, and he could help you. First of all, he can help you optimize your credit card points. So instead of getting,
I'm actually calling him soon.
Did you?
Yeah. Well, blah, 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 going on honeymoon. I was going to call Eli.
You should.
Yeah.
So I told Eli, I'm like, first of all, I just paid him. I helped him recreate his thing. So I paid him $1,000. We spent an hour on a Zoom call, and he studied all my credit card expenses and helped me optimize to like switch from this card to these two cards and get triple the points. I was very happy to pay $1,000 to now be getting triple the points every month. That was a no-brainer for me. I was happy. But before, it was like, it's $5,000 and you get your first trip and then 6 months to our online community and instant texting access to a travel concierge. I'm like, don't want any of that, Eli. Like, stop selling me shit I don't want. And then he was like, for $197 a month, you can have instant access to, I'm like, I don't want it. I'm like, but anytime I'm going to Europe or Asia, if I could pay you a few grand to get like 90% off, like sweet hotels and business class, and get if I can get a $60,000 trip for 10 grand and you take 5, I'm not trying to like lower the amount of money I'm paying Eli. I just want to go on a nice trip. I didn't want to be on a subscription. He's like, is it the number? I'm like, dude, if it's $5 a month, I'm not interested. I'm like, I want to pay you a lot every time I travel. So he's coming up with this concept where it's like the travel menu. So imagine he knew you and your wife. You might want to go on a winter trip. You might want to go on a summer trip. So occasionally you're getting like a monthly email. It's like, here's a trip to the Greek islands that would normally be 180,000 points. And it's like 14,000 points for the 3rd week of August. So instead he's scouting the best deals and pushing them to you on like a monthly basis. I'm like, I want that. But yeah, so this was a thing where I'm like, dude, I don't care how much I pay you. I don't want to have if 4 months go by and I'm paying you and haven't got any trips, I'm going to cancel and I probably won't come back.
Yeah.
So like, he's the most glaring example to me. It's like, but subscription revenue is better. I'm like, no, customers who return is better. Subscription is a way to get that. For Quip, it makes sense. I change my toothbrush every couple months.
Yeah.
But like Design Pickle or whatever, when you're trying to make a subscription business out of a business that shouldn't be a subscription, it's not a good idea.
I think Design Pickle was good at it because they were really good at the process. And also, I think they were a little bit earlier. Now there's AI.
For how long did it last though? It's not a 10-year business. It's not like a long-term thing. Like if you're going to do that for a moment of time, sure. But I think businesses are going to grow out of you too quick. Like, I don't know. I just don't think it was a long-term business. If you're not trying to build a long-term business, fine. But I would argue, like, why wouldn't you?
I am seeing a lot of places do these services instead of digital products now. One of the guys in our community, he's a travel blogger as well. And he does South America stuff primarily. And he knows everything about South America, how to get the best trip.
Great.
He actually says most of the people going to him are not there to save money. They actually like kind of have like enough money to do whatever they want. Like so he's not a budget person, but he's like, I can make your trip so much better because they just know like what's going to be awesome. If you want to do touristy things, what to do. If you want to do like off-brand stuff that no one will do,
awesome.
But you're also not going to get mugged, I know what you're going to do, right? So he knows all those things. So he was selling like a $9.99 travel guide, and it was really hard because, like, dude, you sell 10 of these, you make $100. Meanwhile, it's just a hard business to make any money off of. And now you got ChatGPT, a billion different blog posts, bloggers, YouTubers, whatever. I mean, you got all this competition. So I was just like, what if you did this? What if you offer a 1-hour call for $100? Just start off like that. Now he's doing 3-4 calls a month, making way more than he would in one of these things. He lives in South America, so that's a ton of money. And he's just building that out to be the person, like if you go to South America, run it by this guy.
Yeah.
And he's going to tell you all the cool
to South
stuff.
America is a plenty big market.
Yeah.
And like your market is not the hostile backpacker.
Fortunately, yeah. So they're not trying to save money. They're talking about like, we want to go business class and also just like not get jumped, but also see cool South America stuff. So pay him a couple $100, get your trip reviewed, and he'll give you a couple different things that's going to make it so.
Want a better trip.
Yeah.
So I told Eli, I'm like, what I want is when I'm traveling international, I definitely want business class. When I'm traveling domestic, I don't mind paying for my flights, but I would like to be upgraded with my hotels. So he's like, great, we get you this card and this card. It gives you your first 40 nights of Marriott qualifying nights. And now like anytime you go to a Marriott, you're going to always get upgraded. I'm like, how is Eli always staying in these like penthouses all the time? I'm like, I think I make more money than Eli.
Like, dude, shout out, what's his website? Is it Eli the Travel Guy?
Eli the Travel Guy on Instagram. Yo, his shit's legit.
Yeah.
In 1 hour, he's helped me get in triple my points.
No. Okay. So I have all these points, and I used to own a physical business, and everything was put on a credit card. For 7 years, I was using a Marriott Bonvoy credit card. Before it was called Bonvoy, it was called Starwood. And I used it. And then one day I had an issue with Amex. I called them, and the guy was like, dude, you've got a lot of points. I kid you not, I did not know what points were.
You got a MacBook?
No, I didn't know what it was. And so I was just like, oh, sweet. Can you get like a free trip to Denver or something? He's like, you can go around the world 7 times first class and stay in the best hotels. And I was like, wait, what? So that got my attention. For the next 7 years, I stayed in W hotels, unlimited, all that kind of stuff, like upgraded, all that kind of stuff, because I had so many points. And I realized what I was doing the entire time was the stupidest way to book, which is go to like the Amex travel thing and book it. So I went on YouTube to research this. Dude, it is so complex.
It is.
I mean, and that's why
it's actually
idiots like me are the one. I'm the chump. I'm the one just booking a hotel room, booking a flight based off travel points. Eli would laugh in my face and be like, no. You got to transfer your Amex points on this month to Virgin Atlantic and then book with Virgin Atlantic on Singapore Airlines. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And if you have the
flexibility of the day that you go, which most people do, you can have the greatest deal ever. So yeah.
So you could like fly first class instead of getting some coach flight. Yeah. And so I think like someone who knows the ins and out of this like weirdly complex industry is worth a couple $1,000.
It's so easy for them to run Facebook ads. And then you're getting inbound people who want to get business class to their Denver flight. Like, yo, that's not the audience. Don't let the people who came from your Facebook ads confuse you. We were at like a mastermind. I'm like, look around the room. these are your customers.
Yeah. That's a difficult one because I wouldn't even know what that person is called. A travel concierge? A travel planner?
Yeah. I thought the greatest place in for him is 2 points. Number one, you have a shitload of points and you want to go on a really nice trip wisely. Two, if you can start tripling your points immediately, I'm like, that's a great place to start. And like, they don't need to book the trip now. I'm like, I felt like I plugged my leaky bucket. So Amex Gold gives you like 4 times the points on ad spend and like groceries and restaurants, but it gave me nothing on shipping. I pay a lot of money on shipping. But so like the Chase card gives me like 3 points on my shipping. So he's like, just use this card for your shipping. This is your meal. It was very simple. It's like, this is your food card. This is your travel card. And this is your shipping card. Perfect. I could deal with that. So he made like I'm like, 4 cards. But like, it wasn't that bad because like one's just my shipping card.
I know. I've been going down this whole rabbit hole to try to maximize these points. So like as my personal spending card, me and my wife have the Amex Gold, not the platinum, but for business, I have the platinum. And I'm just like, what? I'm going crazy just thinking about this.
For $9.97, Eli made it simple.
My buddy Nomadic Matt, he has like 80 credit cards. And we used to live together a long time ago. And he literally has like a stack of this many credit cards. And he has to have software just to track them all. So there are some people that are hardcore into this. But for me, I'm too much of an idiot to like figure this out.
My first Amex Platinum was when I was in Canada. I got it and then instantly canceled it. And I'm like, let's see if I could, like, I'm like, I don't want to pay $600, but I want the lounges. So I got the Amex Platinum instantly. I didn't even activate it. They called them like, when I went to activate it, I'm like, instead, cancel it. I actually don't want it anymore. But for 1 year, the card still worked in all the airport lounges.
But there is point inflation. That's a real thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember it used to cost me like 30,000 points to stay
Now everybody's
at a
got
W.
points.
Oh, and if you stay 2 nights, you get the 3rd night free. So instead of staying like Friday, Saturday, it'd come Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Nice.
And then they would also give you extra perks like here's 3 free drink tickets for any drink. So I'd be like, give me a triple martini with that top shelf. I swear to God, I've ordered $120 drinks before with that ticket. Now they're like $15
They get
voucher.
smart.
Yeah. They start plugging all the holes.
Yep.
More and more people. I think it's because of the internet's ruined it.
Yeah.
So if you were one of the lucky few who knew how the system worked, you could really milk it and they didn't care.
So there's no more private hot springs.
Yeah, now you just be like, best way to use Amex Platinum, and there's some guy that tells you exactly how to do it and milk the system. And so then it kind of like, they have to change the rules.
Someone wrote a blog to ruin like every private like waterfall that there ever was. Like now you're like in rural like Peru hiking and they're like, God damn it, why is there 40 of you here? Like one blog made this like pristine local thing. Now it's super popular.
Yeah. I feel like there was this hack where you can get avocado and steak from Chipotle for like $3. And then someone posted online and then it just like, they're like, shit, we got to change this. So
my buddy Amir, he calls it the Americano. When he orders an Americano, if I ever own a coffee shop, I will name a drink after him. But basically they take the 2 shots. He's like, put one in the cold brew. He's like, put one with milk and one with water. And he gets like 2 drinks for the price of one.
Oh, geez.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I had friends that would bring tea bags and then go to
Get the
Starbucks, get the hot water.
I'm not doing
the sugar and all that kind of stuff.
That's not what we're here for.
Yeah. All right, cool, man. Well, this is a fun pod. Of course, we didn't get to half the stuff we did, so we'll have to do round 4 pretty soon.
Yes, sir.
How can people find you? Where can people plug you? Where can people do things?
This is fine.
Jaspr.co?
Jaspr.co. No E in Jaspr and no M in cum.
Did you say cum?
That sounded like it.
Jaspr.com. XXX site. Yeah.
JSPR.co.
And there's no homepage. It just goes straight to the
No, we put the homepage back today. We're going to test it out.
Interesting. I would love to hear the examples of that.
I'll let you know.
Test. I mean, if you're selling one thing and you just allow people to buy it there, that's probably...
Dude, I think I'm going to say Drink AG1, Athletic Greens, AG1, they do it really good. They just have a 1-page website. It's the homepage, but it says get started, and it takes you to the part of the page where you can just buy. I think like making your homepage the product page is better than what I'm doing. Right now it's a little weird. Like you land there and it's clearly like an e-com product page.
Yeah.
So I'm going to move more into their direction.
Yeah, if you're selling one thing, just make the page.
One thing, one page.
Yeah, you don't need
single SKU life.
I have seen a lot of sites used to have like about, contact, all that stuff. You're just like, okay, if we reinvented that, would you need the about page, contact page? I think that's like old school
just an Instagram page
stuff, and I think we're kind of past those things.
All right,
cool, man. Thanks so much.
Peace,
appreciate it. Boom. Hey, it's Neville here. You may see me from some of this content and wonder, what does this guy do? So my main thing we have is called copywritingcourse.com. All it is it's a simple video course that trains you how to become a great copywriter, write better emails, sales pages, promotions, email sequences, all those types of things. But also it is part service. meaning we have this really advanced behind the scenes forum where you can upload your stuff and myself and other writers will go improve it. And the easiest way to improve stuff for us is just rewriting stuff. So let's say you have a cold email that you're reaching out to thousands of people with. You upload that, give us some background information, and we can go rewrite it in the way that we see people get better conversions every single time. So you're getting myself, professional writers, and the community giving you suggestions saying, hey, I think that's more confusing. What if you write it this way? A lot of times I prefer just rewriting the whole thing and sending it to you, maybe making a couple of images to put in there. And then the other thing we do is we have live weekly office hours. That means every week, a couple of people, just a small portion, come on to calls with me live, and we go through about 8 questions each time. Now, just remember, only about 1% or less of the community will ask a question on each office hours. So you will get time to chat directly with me. And I do these myself. So we'll talk to people for 5 to 20 minutes each, going over their stuff. And the cool thing is, let's say I make some recommendations. You can go make those changes and then come back the next week and be like, what do you think of these? And then we can modify it more and more and more until you get it nice and tight and solid. So that's what the copywriting course is. It's self-paced training. It's live forum, live office hours. And what our goal is whatever you spend on us within that same year, you get 10x or more back. So if you spend a certain amount of money, my goal is always that my training and help will make you 10x more back. Now, I can't always prove and guarantee that, but at the same time, this happens with so many people that it's always my goal with customers. So go to copywritingcourse.com and join. And I hope you're pleasantly surprised with our service. People say it's the best course community that they've ever joined in their entire lives. So I hope you have the same result, and I'll see you inside. Take care.